are supposed to be. Ladies, if I could sit in the middle so I can see the both of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that'll be enough. Thank you. Okay. Wow, I tell you what, each time I see you, just as I think I cannot be more impressed, you just outdo yourself. Thank you so much. That was mesmerizing. It was super energetic, and I think the audience will agree with me that you are the life and soul of this event. Thank you so much for everything you do. Round of applause. Welcome to this panel section. This session is titled Aging Gracefully. Now, over the past 2 years, yesterday we were wowed by the youth. We saw the models, we saw the young people demonstrating Black excellence. We did get a glimpse of these amazing, elegant ladies of MK as they were modeling. And I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, when I got home, I looked myself in the mirror and I asked myself some very difficult questions. You left me feeling very inspired. And part of what we want to get out of today's discussion is finding out what is that secret for vitality and youth. And I'm joined by my co-presenter. Oh, she might need a microphone, please, MC. You are a co-presenter. I did not realize that. You know, in a world that is obsessed by speed and youth, I'll see you in a minute. Because when I went to beauty school, we were told that aging is the enemy and youth is the goal. Whatever you do by any means, do not grow old. And then I started to grow old. I hit menopause. And I wanted a skincare brand that spoke to where I was now, not where I used to be. I wanted more than what was in the bottle. I wanted the messaging to speak to my soul and to speak to my spirit, and I wanted the product to speak to the skin that I have now. So I created Rogue for mature and menopausal skin to help women embrace aging with confidence. Popular culture or popular skincare will tell you, we'll erase the lines. We will make you look 30 again. I don't want to make you look 30 because I do not want to be 30 in the game. When I was 30, I had 3 children under 5. They drove me crazy. I didn't know you meant that. Well, growing older, I realized that that was not the best stage of my life. Would somebody like to come and sample this lovely serum, even if I say so myself? I want to sample because I need to grab the mic back from you. So a sample on my skin would be awesome. Then I get to have the microphone back and amazing skin all in one go. So when your skin starts to age, you lose collagen, you lose elastin, the things that give your skin elasticity and plumpness, and the skin starts to sag, you start to have what I call lifelines, you know, the signs that you've lived. So yes, you have laughter lines. Botox will have you erase that. Why? Because it's a world that you have laughed. What is wrong with laughing? So we are not chasing you, but we want you to have healthy, nourished skin, protected skin barrier, strong product that will hydrate, deal with loss of elasticity, loss of tone, and hyperpigmentation. And what you really want is good, healthy skin. Well, and the glow is not too bad either, ladies and gentlemen. I am glowing in real time. fashion, I'd like to call back to the stage the House of Iroku. What I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's a sustainable brand, and for that we are grateful. We also want to give a shout out to Clarks, iconic looks for everyday comfort, who sponsored all the footwear that our models are wearing today. So shout out to Clarks, partnering with sustainable fashion brands. We are grateful for the support. Long may it continue. DJ, please cue some music introducing the House of Iroku.
personal age. So I have to get back into my clothes because I'm a fashion person. To be honest as well, being aged gracefully, you have to be comfortable with yourself, have your own personality, be graceful, enjoy life, be happy. Once you're happy, it's the best thing anyone could ever have. Happiness is a great thing to possess. And once you're happy, everything comes, fall into place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now that I've taken over this, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, now that I'm the co-presenter, I want to ask the audience. So when they said their ages, I saw everybody go like, ooh, why? Can somebody tell me why? Sorry?
The skin looks good.
You look good. I think as society, we are programmed to think that age equals a certain aesthetic. So when we hear a certain number, we're expecting gray, wrinkles, walking with your back bent, a walking stick, and the rest of it. So once you have that mental association and you hear the number 74 and you see a vibrant, attractive lady with the dance moves forever, you're like, that's not computing. So it's how society has programmed us to think, to say if an age is a certain number, it should look a certain way. Absolutely, and that's where I was going, because as women, we've been conditioned to think that when you are aging or when you are older, you should look a certain way. And you hear people pay compliments and say, oh, you don't look your age. I'm like, what does my age look like? What is she supposed to look like? Because popular culture tells us that as women, we must constantly chase youth. We should want to reverse the clock. We should want to look 30. So you hear phrases like 50 is the new 30 and 70 is the new 40. No, 50 is 50 and it's fabulous, and 74 is fantastic. And she looks exactly how she's supposed to look. So for me, it's about changing this narrative. So when men become older, they're silver foxes. They become more attractive. And when women grow older, we expect them to slow down. If they dress a certain way, we say, oh, you're not dressing your age, or you're not acting your age, as though aging for a woman means less, as though it means fading, as though it means diminishing, and it means none of those things. So I am so excited. Elegant ladies, actually, who are aging gracefully, or to be honest with you, even disgracefully. But they are aging because aging is a privilege that not many people get to have. So let's hear it up for glowing older, because that's what's happening. They are glowing older. Thank you.
Always stay in your own mind. What do I say? Be yourself no matter where you go, what you go. No matter who you meet, be yourself. And that makes a difference as well. In life. Well, I'm enjoying life anyway.
We certainly can see proof of that. We certainly can see proof of that. And to my co-presenter, I just wanted to say, earlier on, you and I had a conversation where you revealed your age to me, and yes, I was like, oh, no way. So congratulations. I know you. To your point, yes, you are the age that you are. But again, to your point, I think it also evidences that how you look after yourself. You mentioned earlier the food you eat, how you look after your skin. That also goes a long way in not reversing the clock, but preserving what we already have and giving us that longevity that we long for. So thank you for that. I really enjoyed that we are discussing today are very deep. You know, the children that we are raising, what they are a mirror of the society, and they are a mirror of the environment in which they are being raised. I think one of the struggles that I have observed through speaking to friends, speaking to my community, is that the lifestyle that we have in this country is different from this lifestyle we had back home. Back home, there was a saying that it takes a community to raise a child. If you see a child misbehave, I actually, and I talk about this all the time, that when I was doing my O-levels, a neighbor saw me walking with a boy, walking, not holding hands, just walking. She took me by the ear the whole way home, and she beat the life out of me. Do you know what my mother did? My mother thanked her and said, "Thank you so much for disciplining to the countries that we are living in now. Words of community raising a child, we are also in a country that is governed, and we have to follow the laws of the land. We have to mind our own business. But in doing so, our young people, because we are following shift after shift, we are trying our best to keep the balance. There is no time to invest in disciplining our children so that they become responsible citizens. My question for you, panelists, and certainly for you, Reverend, as a spiritual leader, is what is the role of the Black community in raising responsible children, in raising responsible citizens that become a credit and a good reflection of society? I'm going to start with you, Reverend, and then work our way around the panel.
Thank you, Chair. I think that's a very wide and deep conversation that we could have, not just this evening, probably the whole next 1 week. But I'll try and be brief. It is clear Black people, particularly in the United Kingdom, but more so in the rest of the diaspora, more often than not, we tend to walk as if we are walking in the middle of a storm, which is raging, but we have to hold our heads high. Let me explain. You see, there are some cultural expectations that we embody as men, whether you are white or you are black. But there are also stereotypes. We are expected to show leadership, to show strength, not to be a weakling, to provide what they call here in this island, to man up. And while you are doing all that, there are some times you walk around feeling invisible. And some other times you feel as if there is too much spotlight on you. So it takes a lot of balance, both in your home, in your own life, in discipline, and what the church can help while speaking not only to the men themselves, the children, and the women, speaking to the family unit. See, we are very fond of talking about how our children have become impossible, how they are difficult. But one of the problems, if you ask me, is because we are always telling them about survival. It's as if we are teaching them about survival in this country, rather than also giving them hope and possibilities. Yes, it is absolutely fantastic to speak to our children about Mandela and how he survived for 27 years on Robben Island as a story of survival. But we should not stop there. We should not forget to tell them about Mandela, the president. It's okay to talk to our children about black folks suffering and picking cotton as slaves and working in the sugar plantations in the Caribbean. But yes, we should not stop there. We should also give them stories of hope and possibilities. You want to take it?
It's not something you should be contemplating about. It's not something you should be thinking about. It's something you insurance has destroyed homes. The lack of insurance has destroyed homes. It has caused divorce, distress, suicide. Because when you're out of work, then you're out of work for the next 6 months, and that income is not coming anymore. Then your wife will let you know that you're useless.
And we don't like useless husbands. I'm afraid I'm going to have to claim the time back from you so that we move on to our next panel. But so many important themes you have covered there. We probably need a separate session just to go over that. So thank you very much for sharing. I do want to move on to my colleague here. You know, again, looking at statistics for expulsions, statistics for exclusions. What is going on in the schools? Please, can you share with us? And what can we do to curb this scourge that's keeping our children out of school? Do we need the reverend to come and say a prayer or what?
We need a lot of things. The business I'm into, the charity that I run, let me call it charity. Yes, it's a business, but it's a charity. It's all to do with education. It starts with education. It's to do with education. And this charity was founded back in 2007 when there was gun crimes, knife crimes, and black kids being excluded from school on the streets. And as leader in this offense, he said, what can we do? So we set up something to do with education. So I know
Families can bring their pain, their sorrow, their sadness, but it's also a place where they can bring their joy, their celebrations, and their creativity, which defines what a community is. Because our children, our men, and our bodies are not defined by the challenges that we face. There are hopes which can be overcome and struggles, but it all began, like this gentleman said, at home. This fight must begin at home. Go to the church before it comes to the society. Yes, it still does take, even now, a community to bring up a child. The child is simply not my own child. The child belongs to the society. I think I'll stop there for now.
Wow, how do you follow that up, ladies and gentlemen? The Reverend took us to church, educated us. I feel I should be writing notes. Thank you so much for sharing. Reverend, you touched on something that's really struck a chord. You know, as parents, we are guilty of competing in the oppression Olympics. We want to highlight how oppressed we were, how much we suffered, and we don't highlight heroes. And that fits perfectly into the Black History Month theme. We're talking about power and pride. We are talking about elevating the stories that shine our people in a positive light. Thank you so much for spotlighting people like Barack Obama. Thank you for spotlighting the presidency of Nelson Mandela, so that our children know that it doesn't matter where you start, where you finish is where the story is. So thank you so much for that. One of the things you mentioned was, you know, we mustn't just teach children about struggle. We need to teach them about hope. And I'm going to cut over to the entrepreneur who's sitting on our panel today. The Reverend spoke about hope. As an entrepreneur, what lessons can we give our young men, our young children? What examples can we give them to say, you don't have to work a 9 to 5 every day. You don't have to chase shift work every day. You don't have to be working in the warehouse and then working in the NHS and then working in Marks and Spencer's at the weekend, just in that constant survival mode. We want to teach entrepreneurial skills. And what words of wisdom, as a man who's walked that journey, what can you impact and share that will help the younger generation?
Thank you. I think, Pastor, you really did hit the nail on the head. And when you were speaking, my mind picked up two things. You mentioned stereotypes, and then you mentioned the positive examples. The stereotype starts from home. We have to speak and unite to our children and their parents. There's no rule. For me, I try and make sure that my children are very positive about everything. So my youngest two are into their football, the girl and the boy. And I encourage them. But I say to them, football is not the only way. You can go football route in your life if you become successful, fantastic. But you can also go any other way because you're brilliant enough to do it. So I always overemphasize their brilliance. The fact that they're good in school, they're good in their academics, they're good in whatever they choose to do. And I always say to them, because I also, apart from being an entrepreneur, I'll come to that in a minute, I also work. I used to work. When I say to them, I have no fear of anything. I personally do not see racism. I don't acknowledge it. Not that I don't see it. I don't acknowledge it. When I say to my son, I say, listen, I know one thing about my job. They didn't get me because I'm black. They got me because I can do my job. So learn to do your job and excel in your job. That way there is no question of racism. It doesn't exist in my mind at work. My work speaks for me. And in business it's the same. I say to them, listen, don't limit yourself. Why? So we're in this country, people are starting businesses. We've heard all the stories. Somebody started his business with 100 pounds. Why can't you do it? Are you different? Do not ever undersell yourself. I do not allow my children to bring negative thoughts to me. I kill it straight away. I said, why do you want to think that way when you can think this way? The positive side. So, as Michael said, and as Tony said, it starts in the home. We need to speak as fathers positive messages, and not just to our children. And that is why you come in.
Right?